Hello, nice to have you guys tuning in today. Welcome to our first Facebook Live town hall. Huge thanks to Kyle and Alex for figuring this out. Those of you who haven't met him before, this is Alexander Hutchins. He's my legislative aide up here. And I'm Representative Bri Buentello. Thank you so much for joining, as I stated before, our first live Facebook town hall. Woo! Exciting stuff. You know, I think the hardest thing about legislating is frankly being away from home. It's long hours. The other night we were here till 3 o'clock in the morning, and we anticipate we're going to have to work on Saturday to get all the legislation done before the clock strikes midnight on May 3rd. So this is a really cool way to keep in touch with y'all back home, and I'm just so excited to get started. As a reminder, you had to until 5 o'clock yesterday to turn in questions. We will not be doing live questions this time around, but thank you so much again for joining us. As I said before, and I know I've met quite a few of y'all back home, my name is Representative Bri Buentello, and I'm a teacher at East High School. A lot of you guys have already heard the story of the day I decided to run because I teach special education at the 9th and 12th through 12th grade levels. And one day I looked out on my classroom and my kids were visibly sweating. And keep in mind, these are special education students, so a lot of them have, body regulation or thyroid issues and things like that. My classroom was literally 84 degrees that day. And, I did some digging and basically asked, why is it that I have to hand over hundreds of dollars for my own laptop, for my own fans, for my own materials for classrooms? And as it turns out, that's a super complicated political question, but the short version is we don't have any money for education here in the state of Colorado. So, anybody who has a teacher in their family knows that teacher mad is a special kind of mad. And, I filed to run for House District 47 2 weeks later. And here I am 2 years after that, representing y'all up in the Capitol. So, very proud to tell you guys that I'm the vice chair of the Education Committee, which is great because, frankly, if there's any education bill that hopes to become a law in the state of Colorado, it means me and a handful of the other members of the Education Committee hear it first, which, I still wake up some mornings and can't believe that I have this level of impact now and the opportunity to work for you guys and for our public schools. So thank you so much for that. Real quick, wanted to talk about the process of a bill becoming law. Those of you who remember that old Schoolhouse Rock, I'm just a bill, go back and rewatch that. And I'll try to make sure to remember to link it below. But, short version, a bill starts when a lawmaker, such as myself, drafts a bill with lawyers. All right? It then gets introduced with the Speaker of the House and the House leadership, and they assign it to a committee. All right? Committees, generally speaking, have anywhere between 9 and 13 members. That committee votes on the merits of that bill, all right? And if it passes out of committee, generally speaking, it's going to either appropriations or finance, which is where we argue about all the money. And if it makes it out of that, it goes to the House floor. If a bill makes it all the way through the House, at this point, it gets to rinse and repeat over in the Senate. Exact same process. It has to get read across the desk. It has to make it out of committee, it has to make it out of finance or appropriations, and then it goes to the Senate floor. And after all that is said and done, it goes to the governor's desk. And basically you just pray at night, please let him pass my bill. Not really. Anyway. So yeah, that's how a bill becomes law. To date, I have passed 3 bills into law, and I'm actually really excited this morning because I found out that my 9th grade dropout prevention program just got funded a full $800,000, which is going to be great for schools across the state of Colorado, and in particular our rural schools who suffer artificially high dropout rates. So very excited about that, and I really hope to bring back that governor's pen for y'all. So anyway, with that, let's go ahead and get started with questions.
All right, so this first one is from Terrence in Lahana, Colorado. You've been busy this session with education bill after education bill. How many of them can you realistically expect to be enacted, and if so, what's next?
Well, let's see. 2 of my 3 bills that are passed right now are education bills, and I anticipate that a minimum of another 2 will be passed concerning special education, and as I stated before, dropout prevention. The thing that I've learned about education policy is that there are no overnight fixes. You can't, as much as I would love to just swoop in with Representative Escar and Valdez and just single-handedly fix school finance, it's just not going to happen. There's a process, there's red tape, but these incremental changes, whether it's counting special education students properly in graduation rates, whether it's allowing teachers to go through more professional development or administrators, whether it's addressing the teacher shortage, all these little changes add up. And frankly, I am very proud to say, make our schools better. So short version, I do anticipate another 2 education bills will be passed by the end of session. And, I'm going to keep fighting for that incremental change.
This next question is from Jose in Pueblo. D60 schools in Pueblo are so underfunded already. Why are we taking the money away from teachers to pay for programs like school lunch?
First of all, a couple of misinformation and assumptions there. My school lunches bill, first and foremost, is not out of money that is allocated for education, number 1. Second of all, this school lunches bill, particularly for school districts that are cash-strapped, and they already serve Colorado produce like District 70. Like District 70, this is going to free up tens of thousands of dollars because now they're essentially getting a farm subsidy for that local school district to serve Colorado Proud produce and Colorado beef. So the 2 are completely misconnected. This money, like this bill, will help free up money so that we can pay our teachers more, so that we can fix our classrooms, so that we can hire more paraeducators. Very proud of it.
This next question is from Cami in Otero County. It's no secret that in southern Colorado we're some of the most underfunded and underprivileged schools in the state. Do you believe that in southern Colorado we can actually become a leader in education?
Yes, of course, with all my heart. And I wouldn't have run if I didn't believe that, truthfully. I fight for that incremental funding and that incremental change every single week. It is literally some weeks why I work 60 and 70 hours up here and get myself sick from exhaustion. Our schools are not they're grossly underfunded, but it's not like our teachers or our students are in any way, shape, or form less, less proficient in teaching or have any less potential than the kids that are up in Colorado Springs or in Denver, which is why, every single day I'm fighting for more dollars and for more opportunity for our kids, because I do believe that they can achieve it.
So, this next question is from Bill in Pueblo. I'm an avid sportsman myself. Are you interested in submitting another proposal for a hunter education course in public schools in southern Colorado?
Oh, what do you think my first 5 bills are going to be? No, I absolutely love, my fondest memories, actually, growing up, because my daddy was in the Marines, and I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with him, truthfully. And, my fondest memories are like going pheasant hunting, or the first time I went deer hunting, and I'm pretty sure I just played the orchestra for all the deer in a mile's radius, but, I got to spend time with my dad, and those are memories that I wouldn't trade for anything. And, I believe that southern Colorado, with us being as cash-strapped as we are, we are trying so hard to make a living that oftentimes we don't make it outdoors. And I want our kids to have that early exposure, early in their education, to the outdoors, and to what a blessing it is to live in Colorado.
So This next question is from Damien in Lahana. I've read and reread your special education graduation bill and can't seem to make heads or tails of it. Can you clarify what exactly this bill does?
All right, so this is where my nerd comes out. Here's what happens, essentially, before this law. My little boy is on the autism spectrum, right? As much as I pray otherwise every single day, I don't think it's realistic that he is ever going to be capable of the standard graduation requirements, trigonometry, calculus, English 12, things like that. Well, the way the state of Colorado counts special ed students right now is essentially as dropouts because they don't meet those minimum graduation requirements, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you consider that we get dinged on our accreditation every single 2 or 3 years, I mean, part of why our schools, frankly, are artificially underfunded is because of little policy like that, where we literally don't count the special ed students as graduating, even though they're going to rehabilitation or career and technical education services or vocational services. This bill matters because over the long term, it's going to help our accreditation, it's going to realize and acknowledge the accomplishments of special ed students, and it's going to help us with funding.
All right. That's all the questions.
Wow, that was fast. Well, thank you all so much for submitting the questions. I hope to do another one of these between here and Sine Die. And thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks for the opportunity to work for y'all.